Hi guys, Ronnie here and welcome to the workshop. Today I'm going to talk about wheels again. So if you race or time trial in a competitive fashion, then you probably own a pair of deep section carbon wheels or aero wheels for that matter. And if you own a pair of expensive aero wheels, then you probably would like to know how to improve their performance a little bit. Now these are kind of marginal gains, but they really don't cost too much, just some fractions of the cost of the wheels themselves, and they have the potential to increase the performance. So let's just get into it. I have been experimenting with a couple of products lately, but first I'm going to start with the most important of them all, and that is choosing the correct tire for your event or your wheel. Now, you may have already known the Vittoria Corsa Speed now is the fastest fastest rolling tire in the world, and it's also quite good in terms of aerodynamics because, well, it might say 23C, so that's not what the industry trend is right now, of moving to wider tires, but this tire fits most aero rims extremely well in terms of wheel and tire aero interface. So if you want to go fast on a time trial, you definitely need to consider your tire width, so it's actually narrower than your rim width, because otherwise you're not getting the full aero advantage of your wheel, and this can outweigh the benefits of a wider tire. So, but then again, no wider tire at the moment is faster than this tire, so it's a win-win situation. Obviously it has some drawbacks, it's not very durable, it's not very tough, but for speed events it's definitely a good choice. Now another option to make this tire even faster is if you use it tubeless, because this is the first Vittoria tire to be tubeless ready, and that saves a couple of tens of watts in rolling resistance again. So if you've got a tubeless compatible wheel, then no worries. You just set it up with some high quality sealant and there you go. If you don't have a wheel like this, well, if you're a bit like me, these zips, unfortunately, I think that they're a bit behind the curve with this, but they're not tubeless ready. Then you are still better off with using latex inner tubes, which roll faster than standard butyl inner tubes and are a bit lighter as well, although that's not as important. Now if you use latex tubes, these are quite, well, they appear to be not as tough as butyl tubes, and I recently got one problem with them, because this, as you can see here, is the standard zip high pressure rim tape for road wheels, and it has one, I think, quite a major issue if you use this Vittoria latex tube. Yeah, here it is. So at the valve hole, this tape is basically bonded together, and that creates a sharp edge. Now I recently got a puncture because this sharp edge basically wore through the inner tube, so that's not really what you want with your expensive inner tubes, and definitely not what you want for a race. So luckily there's a very good solution to that. I recently got my hands on Silca Platinum rim tape, and now if you use a tubeless setup, this is probably the best rim tape for carbon wheels, but if you don't, it's still an extremely good thing to, because, well, again, you can save a bit of weight, because I have just measured this. This tape measures roughly 20 grams, and it's quite awkward to fit, to be honest. And this tape, or all of this tape, is 4 grams, so yeah, not a big difference, but these can add up. So if you look at my wheel, it already has the Silca tape in it, and you can see it's super smooth because it's very thin, and it adheres to the rim very well. So this creates, I think, much better protection for the tube itself, or a much better seal if you talk about a tubeless system. Yeah, so that's the rim tape covered. With these deep wheels, you have to use 99% of the time some kind of valve extender. And these Zip NSWs ship with Silka's high quality rubberized valve extenders here, so they have a bit of a rubber liner on them so they don't rattle around. If you have a tubeless setup, then I definitely can only recommend the tubeless valves they do, because these are super high quality, very nicely machined, spherical nuts so they don't bend, and they have a super tough valve in there as well. And they also come with a speed shield. Now the speed shield also can prevent your valve from rattling, and it protects your rim if you tighten the tubeless valve against it. You get a really nice interface there, and this should also aerodynamically shield your valve stem, so that should save a half a watt per wheel according to Silka. So that's another marginal gain you can make. Another one, of course, I've mentioned this previously, is wheel balance. I have a separate video on that, but I have my wheels balanced so they don't have a heavy spot in them. This saves also roughly half a watt to 1 watt per wheel, depending on how bad your imbalance is, and of course it improves the handling on high-speed descents mainly. There's less vibration, so you get a bit more traction and a bit better feel, less fatigue. I've been using this for a while now and I'm really happy with that. Then, one final thing. I'm really not satisfied with Zip's new quick release levers, because they are huge, if you know what I mean. Yeah, you got this huge lever sticking out in the air, and my solution to that are these. Well, they're not quick release skewers anymore, but they're okay for time trials and criteriums. These are view-speed titanium axles, and they just bolt through your hub and you tighten it with a 5mm hex key, and you've got nothing disrupting the airflow around the fork blades. Definitely a lot better than those huge pedals on the quick release skewers. You might object that you can't change your tire or your wheel very quickly if you get a puncture. Well, if you get a puncture, your time trial is toasted anyway, so that doesn't really matter. And if you have a nice quality hex key and you're a bit of a trained mechanic, then I think you can do it probably just as fast. Okay, so these are basically my little upgrades that I do to my wheels. And now that you have your wheel fully upgraded, I suspect you also want it to last a bit longer. So I think the key to that is using the right tire pressure, but that's a whole different topic. If you use a tire pressure that's too soft, you're bottoming out on the rim, so it can be potentially damaged by potholes and such. And if you run your tire pressure too high, then it can transform too much load on the rim and your spokes, because the tire itself is not absorbing the hits. Plus, an incorrect tire pressure is very slow compared to, it can be around 15 watts slower on a rougher surface. So that's definitely worth keeping an eye on, but very complicated subject, not part of this video. And one more durability tip: use a SRAM Red X-Dome cassette. This way your freehub body just won't get chewed up by the cassette. Again, I have a separate video on this, so I'll link that below, these two durability tips, and I think this makes any high quality wheel perform even better and last a bit longer. Okay, so hopefully you have been able to benefit from a couple of these tips. If you'd like to know more about my bikes and what I do to prepare them for racing, then don't forget to tune into my channel and subscribe. It's all for today. Thanks for watching and see you next time.